You guys, I passed my PMP exam with above target in all 3 domains on my first try. Because the way the exam is, it's not about what is traditional project management, what is agile project management. You really have to understand the PM's mindset for you to pass the exam. Study all. See you guys. So you want to wear things like what I'm wearing, a long sleeve. Excited to be making this video because I've actually imagined the time when I'll be making this video. I've thought about the time when I'll be making this video, and I'm here today making this video. You guys, I passed my PMP exam with above target in all 3 domains on my first try. Above target is like the highest you can get. That's like the highest. And I didn't pass with above target in just 1 domain, in all 3 domains. You guys, your girl is a superstar. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. I'm Miriam for those that are new here, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for stopping by again. Let's get into the video. So what is PMP? PMP stands for Project Management Professional, and it is for project managers who have 3 or more years of experience and who also have like 35 hours of formal project management training. So once you have these things, you are actually qualified to take the PMP exam. The PMP is like the gold standard for project managers. It is internationally recognized. It just gives you this leverage when you're applying for jobs, when you're trying to negotiate your salary and so on. So it is a good investment, trust me. And your girl has a certificate, she bagged a certificate. So for PMP, like I said, you have to have been a project manager for 3 years or more, and you have to have 35 hours of formal project management training. So let's break this down into 2. Firstly, about the years of experience. For myself, I didn't have up to 3 years of experience, but when I wrote the exam, I had just 2+ years of experience. But when I was filling out the application for the exam, I filled it in that I had up to 3 years of experience, if not more. So what I did was, I included my experience as a project manager for 2 years, and I included my experience as a lawyer for a bit over a year. But I was able to couch my experience as a lawyer in a way to show that I still managed some projects. So list out the projects, list out your role in the projects and all of that, and then you're good to go. So for those of you that might want to write the exam and you feel like, oh, you do not have up to 3 years of experience as a project manager, but you have maybe up to 5 years of experience as maybe an administrator or an assistant or something like that, what you just have to do is look at all those your years of experience as an administrator or an assistant, and then think of times when you managed a project within these years, and put together all of this experience, couch it. You can use ChatGPT to help you couch everything in a way that would make sense so you can submit your application. But just in case you have never managed a project, then you could take the CAPM, which is the Certified Associate in Project Management, which is way lesser to PMP in terms of price, in terms of value as well. But I'm not going to get into CAPM because this video is all about the PMP certification exam. Once you have been able to get your 3 years of experience out of the line and you are sure that you are qualified, then the next thing you need is your 35 hours of formal project management education. So for me, the organization I was working with then, they arranged for a formal project management education for us with a consulting company. So we had like a class and a session with them for 1 week, and we're given a certificate of participation. So we're able to submit that as our 35 hours of formal project management training. But for some people, if you are maybe self-sponsoring yourself, you can go on Udemy. I think the Andrew House course, I don't really know how to pronounce his surname, but I'm going to put it in the description. There's an Andrew House course that you can purchase and then complete it, get your certificate of completion and submit it. That also qualifies you for your 35 hours of project management experience. And just like my company did for us then, if you want to register with some consulting company that does this, you can also pay and register with them. But note that just taking this course alone does make you prepared for the PMP exam. You still have to do a whole lot of reading. So those are ways you can actually get your 35 hours of formal project management training. Once you get all of these things, you then go on PMI's website, create an account for yourself, apply, include your certificate of formal project management training. They will ask you for all of your project management experience for over 3 years and everything you've done in the project. You're going to include all of that and you're going to submit and wait for a feedback from PMI to know whether you've been qualified to take the exam or not. But just in case you get a rejection that, oh, you were probably not qualified, I think they'll tell you why. And I think it takes about 1 week or so. In my case, it took 3 days for them to get back to me and to let me know that I was qualified. So after that, I made payments. I think, like I said, I paid about $500. God bless my organization. Then they paid about 70% of it. I paid 30% of it. So I made payments, and then immediately I was eligible to, take the exam. The next thing was for me to choose a date. So the thing about choosing a date for this exam is that you have 1 year between the date you actually made your payment to choose a date for your exam. So trust me, there's really no need to rush this exam. Say for instance, I paid in November of 2024. I can't remember when exactly in November of 2024, because in fact there was a delay with the whole application. That was why I paid late. I actually planned to write it in September because we had our formal training in July, and since that July I started studying on my own, and around August I felt like I was ready. So I wanted to write it in September, but there was still a delay with our application based on the consulting company we used for our training and so on. So we didn't register on time until around November, and that was when we made payments. And my wedding was in December. Our payments went through, I think, late November or thereabouts. It didn't make sense for me to go and write it, even though it felt like I'd been studying. I studied, I think, July, August, and a bit of September, and then because I didn't know what was going on with the whole process, I relaxed in my study. So when I thought of picking my books again in November, I just knew that my head wouldn't be there because I was actually planning for my wedding. My wedding was in December of 2024, so I knew that there was no way I was going to give studying my all because I was stressed as it was, running from here to there, doing fittings, getting some things and all of that. So I decided to just postpone it to 2025 because, like I said, I still had 1 year to schedule my exam. 2025 came. If you had seen my video on why and how I quit my job, you know that first quarter of 2025 was actually really stressful for me. Like, there was no way I could really pick up my book to read and prepare for this exam because work was hectic. I leave the house very early as 5. I get back home as late as 8, 9, and I just want to sleep. On weekends when I'm home, I really just want to rest. I want to sleep, I want to cook if I have the strength to. On Sundays, you go to church, you get back, it's Monday again. Like, there was really no way for me to read. So first quarter, I did not even think of my PMP. Not like I didn't think of it, but I knew there was no way I was taking my PMP in first quarter of 2025 because I paid so much money for this exam. Even though it was just 30% I contributed to the exam, it was a lot of money. I had to make good use of the money and make sure that I passed in one attempt. So I quit my job in March of 2025. April, I just rested, honestly. Like, I rested. All of the rest I didn't get to have in the first quarter. I rested in April. In May, I started a new job. Then June came, I decided to start reading again, to pick up my books and start reading again. So like I said, I had done a lot of reading as at July, August of 2024. So I picked up my books, started revising again, and then I wrote my exam in July of 2025. I scheduled my exam the same week I wrote the exam. I saw that week, I felt like, okay, I was ready, and then I saw an available date for that week, so I just scheduled it, and that was it. Now let's get the materials I used in preparing for my exam. First of all, YouTube is actually a very good place to come to watching videos like this because it was videos like this that suggested a lot of materials for me, and everything was super helpful. And another thing you want to do is to join a Reddit group, the PMP Reddit group. So you just go on Reddit, search r/PMP, and then you see the group pop up. Join the group. Everybody will talk about their experiences, on the materials they use, on people who have failed on their first attempt and what they did to pass on the second attempt, the reason why they felt like, oh, they failed on the first attempt and so on. And then some people also post questions and answers and the reason why they feel like, oh, this should have been the answer, this shouldn't have been the answer. The group is just really helpful. That's just all I can say. So join the group, download Reddit on your phone. I didn't have Reddit on my phone until I was preparing for my PMP, and it was really helpful. Then the next thing is Andrew R's courses. Andrew R, I think it's Ramdaya or Ramiadao, I can't remember. That's his full name. He's here on YouTube. Go on YouTube, watch some of his videos, particularly his mindset videos. There are so many PMP videos on YouTube, so I'm sure there's no way you can watch all. If not, you will most likely get confused. So watch the mindset videos. One thing about the PMP exam is that you really have to understand the PM's mindset for you to pass the exam. Because the way the exam is, it's not about what is traditional project management, what is agile project management, Stockman's ladder, and so on. No, it is a scenario-based question, and you really have to understand a project manager's mindset for you to know the answer. So you want to watch mindset videos. You can watch Andrew R's mindset video, but there's another person, I think Mohammed Rahman. Yeah, I think Mohammed Rahman. I'll put the links to some of these videos in the description box. His 23 mindset video, you guys, that video was super helpful. I listened to it like it was always on repeat about 3 weeks before I wrote my exam, to the point where I knew all of the 23 mindsets. Like, mindset is key when it comes to PMP exam. You don't need to memorize anything, you don't need to cram anything. You just need to understand the mindset. That is the key to passing the exam. I watched Mohammed Rahman's mindset video. I watched Andrew R's mindset video. Then I watched some of his other PMP question and answers videos as well. Then David Mclachlan's 100 agile questions video. And then his drag and drop questions, because sometimes some people get drag and drop questions in their exams and then they are confused as to how to drag and drop, how to answer and so on. So if you watch this video before, and trust me, you will be prepared. I did watch the video a couple of times, but as God will have it, I didn't get any drag and drop question, even though I actually wanted to, I really wanted to get 1 or 2 drag and drop questions, but I didn't get any. So I watched that. Okay, other resources I read, I bought Third Rock's notes. There's a note and there's a cheat sheet for project management. I bought that, I read it, I digested it. They also have the mindset section in their notes as well. I think I got the cheat sheet and the notes for about $17. It was a combo package. Then the most important material that was really useful, besides all of the mindset videos, is the PMI study hall. You guys, you need to purchase the PMI study hall if you're actually preparing for your PMP exam. I know some people have passed the PMP without having to purchase the PMI study hall, but trust me, the few people I know, they actually passed, but not with a very perfect score, but they passed. And then there are people that find the exam really tough. But with PMI Studio, you already have an idea of how the exams will be structured, how the mindset will be, the scenario-based questions, how they will look like, and so on. And the good thing about PMI Studio is that it is quite harder than the exam. Then I used to have the feeling that, oh, how is the exam going to be? But because of the Reddit group I was on, everybody kept saying, oh, the study hall is way harder than the actual exam. So my mind was at rest, and for real, it was actually harder than the actual exam. So it is something that is really helpful. You already have a PMI's account if you register for the PMP. So just go on there, look for study hall purchase. I think there's study hall plus and study hall essential. The essential is about $35. I think the plus is about $50, and it's valid for 3 months. So make sure that within those 3 months you would actually take the exam. If not, you might have to pay. It happened to me when I was preparing in July, August of 2024. I actually paid for the study hall and I started studying, but because of the whole delay in registration and application, and I couldn't take my exam in 2024, it expired. So I had to make another payment in 2025 when I wanted to purchase it, when I wanted to practice with the study hall again. But I'm so happy. I don't regret making that payment twice, because study hall See, you guys, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. Trust me, it is actually very, very good. And then another good thing about study hall is, we all know, for those of you that are preparing for the exam, so the way the exam is structured is actually for 4 hours, and then there are 3 sections. So you have first question 1 to 60. You can decide to take a break for 10 minutes, come back, start your question 61 to 120, take a break for another 10 minutes, come back, start your question 121 to 160. Yeah, I think so. So the PMI study hall has the same number of questions. There are mini exams, there are a lot of mini exams, and there are 2 exam simulators. So if you are doing the main exam simulator, it has the same number of questions for the same hour, so you can use that, to prepare yourself on how you will sit for 3 hours straight, or for 3 hours with 10 minutes break is in between. That was what I did. The first time I practiced with the normal exam, I finished it at a stretch. It was really daunting, trust me, but I decided to finish it at a stretch, and I had 70%. The second time, I took the 10 minutes break in between, and I still had 70%. Trust me, once you have like 60% and above, or even 50-something% and above, and then you are good with your mindset, you know that the PM's mindset, you understand it really well, you're good to go for the exam. Study hall should be a yardstick, but don't beat yourself up about it. The exam is actually way simpler. Well, for me, the exam was simpler. For most people that I've heard from, the exam was actually simpler. So purchase the study hall and you're good to go. So those were actually materials I used. I took notes, I jotted some things down, I watched videos repeatedly over and over again. I answered questions on YouTube, on study hall, and that was it. Finally, the day of the exam. No, before the exam. So another thing I did was I watched one of Mohammed R's YouTube video on the things to do before the exam, which was actually very helpful. I'll put the link in the description box. I think you guys should actually watch that video, because one key takeaway I took from that video was how to calculate my timing. I'm not good with calculation, and then they won't allow you where you watch into the exam also. You have to be calculating your timing based on what you see on your computer, and they are not calculating, or they are not showing it in a way that shows 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes. Everything is minutes, 260 minutes. And then it's reducing like that. So Mohammed R made me understand that once you're done with your first section, you should have so number of minutes left. For your second and third section, once you're done with your second section, you should have particular number of minutes left for your third section. In my head, I already crammed it. Okay, between my first and second section, I should have a particular number of minutes left. And when I saw my minutes, I knew that, I had time and I was above target with my time. And then when I came back after the second break to take the final section and I saw the time, I knew that I still had enough time to complete the exam. So that was one key takeaway I took from that video. It made me know how to calculate my time. And then another thing was that the day before the exam, I made sure I slept well. I didn't study, I didn't do anything. I made sure I rested well, because my exam was in the morning. I needed to be up and to get to the exam venue early, and I didn't want any tension studying or anything. So that was what I did. I got to the exam hall, I relaxed, I wrote my exam. And another thing I also saw from some people on Reddit was that you're not allowed to wear things like jackets, hoodie or so on inside the exam hall, and it can also get a bit chilly. So you want to wear things like what I'm wearing, a long sleeve, that even if it gets chilly, you are still, a bit covered, and then you're not too cold and shivering, and you still have to focus on your exam. So that was what I did. I wore a long sleeve like this to make sure that I was good and well. But one thing is, when you want to stretch you have to pull your sleeves up and all of that, which is fine. After the stretch, you can roll down your sleeves again. So that's it. I took the exam. Immediately I finished the exam, I was given my provisional pass, and I was told that within a certain number of days, I was going to get my breakdown result and all of that. And after like a day, I got my breakdown results, and that was it. But my friend that wrote as after mine said they no longer give the provisional pass. So I don't know if that applies just in Nigeria or that part of the world. Another thing I forgot to mention was that I studied for 1 month before I wrote the exam. I started studying in June and I wrote the exam in July. But that was because I had done some studying as far back as 2024, so I just picked up my notes and revised again. And between that June and July, for like 2 weeks, I was studying every day for 4 hours for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I reduced the number of times I studied. I started watching more videos and then, just revised a bit with my notes, and that was it. And within a month, I was ready to write the exam, and I actually wrote the exam and passed with above targets in all 3 domains. So that was how I got my PMP certification. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you stayed to the end of this video, thank you so much. And in case you have any questions regarding the PMP besides what I've said, you can drop them in the comment section below and I'll be sure to answer them. I'll see you guys in my next video.